Well, the 9th of December and the number 9 certainly has a special resonance up around these parts. The number 9 shirt, Newcastle centre forward shirt, a pretty special mantle to inherit for any player. You've seen some special ones in your time, as have I, but who stands out for you?
Well, obviously Alan Shearer, the club's all-time leading scorer, I think, is Newcastle United's best ever centre forward in my humble opinion. I think he's as an all-round sort of player, not just his goals, his determination as captain, you know, what he'd done as an ambassador for the club, really put Newcastle on the map. I think it's one of them, innit, wherever you go in the world and you say you're a Newcastle United fan, people want to talk about Alan Shearer, and they still do now, you know, especially in harder times.
Absolutely.
But Alan Shearer for me, my favourite number 9, and I think I'll have quite a few people behind us to back us up on that one.
No, you're far from alone. But there have been some incredible players before him. Obviously, in the year or two before him, Les Ferdinand had the number 9 shirt until he graciously gave it to Alan after he arrived from Blackburn. But you know, Ferdinand was a massive influence on Newcastle's title push in 95-96, and then just before him, the man actually was sold and eventually made way for him. Andy Cole, whose goals per game record was just phenomenal, and whose link up with Peter Beardsley will live long in the memory.
Yeah, first class. I mean, it was sad what happened to Andy Cole, because he went to Man United, and I think he got a lot of stick when he came back as a Man United player at Newcastle. Don't think he helped himself at the cup final in '96 with his sort of comments then. But you know, now, you know, a few years on now, you know, live and let live. When the emotion's taken away from it, a little bit, then you know, you look back at that Andy Cole. Was it 41 goals in 41 games? Yeah. And I mean, who was the last player to do that for Newcastle?
Exactly. I mean, it's an incredible record, and he had so much to do with establishing Newcastle as a major force in football from nowhere. You know, I mean, obviously he came towards the end of the promotion season, really set the seal on that, and then to do what he did, as you say, in his first season in the Premier League, Newcastle's first season in the Premier League, albeit with, you know, Beardsley's inspirational help, was absolutely phenomenal. You know, and that will stand the test of time, you know, for all time. And the thing about Andy Cole is, you know, as well as he did in spells at Manchester United, I don't think he was ever as successful there. You know, the country's greatest club in terms of his own personal performances. I'm talking about, not obviously winning trophies. He was never quite as successful there as he was at Newcastle, and I think that's got a lot to do not only with Peter Beardsley, but also I think with the way that Kevin Keegan had his team set up, and also just the type of football and the type of player, the type of centre forward that Newcastle fans love. You know, I think he was encouraged by everyone in the city, not just his manager, you know, to play with the freedom and, you know, to always look for goals. And no, that was a phenomenal time to be a Newcastle fan. All right, you go further back, you know, obviously the 70s and these around the turn of the 80s, maybe the late 80s as well, wasn't the best time for number 9s, but certainly in the 70s, our mutual friend Supermac was pretty special. Yeah,
I mean, you know, obviously it was long before my time, and probably yours as well.
Slightly,
I'm guessing. I'm guessing. But when you look at Supermac even now, and you think, well, legend. You know, I mean, I remember being on work experience actually at the Evening Chronicle, and I sort of delved through the history books, and we were doing like a special sort of feature on, you know, players who've got hat-tricks, and I was interested to learn then that, you know, Supermac actually got a hat-trick on his debut against Liverpool of all teams, and any player that does that against any Liverpool team on your debut, I think that's first class. But, you know, again, wasn't even born, but, you know, I've seen the footage of him scoring the 2 goals against Burnley, is it?
In the
semi-final when was it Colin Waldron's jumping on his back, like piggybacking him, but he still scores in front of this massive sea of Newcastle fans behind the goal. So, you know, obviously they're not memories, but they're certainly landmarks in history, and I think everyone who knows about Newcastle United knows who Malcolm McDonald is. Absolutely.
And the footage for us, for our generation, or, you know, people even younger than us, the footage of Jackie Milburn is even sort of fewer and far further between, but again, you just have to see the odd clip of him in action, and you need to listen to the people that witnessed him to realise that there was something incredibly special about the man. And certainly obviously towards the end of his life when he was working as a journalist, but he was also giving advice to young players at Newcastle, and he had a real aura and just, you know, that air of respect about him. You're talking about a true legend there as well.
And you cannot forget Mickey Quinn.
Indeed. I was going to say, well, in terms of prolific ratios,
yeah,
Mickey Quinn's, you know, in that first season when he arrived, you know, he obviously scored the 4 goals against Leeds on the opening day of the season, 89-90, wasn't it? Then obviously just pushed Newcastle so close to promotion. We'll not talk about the way that season ended, but
no.
In terms of natural predatory goal poachers, he was up there with the best. He might not have been the finest athlete Newcastle ever had, but in terms of, you know,
I think that
snipper's instinct, he was an absolute genius.
I think that helped him because you know, your average man on the terrace looked down and thought he's a normal bloke, but hey, he had an incredible knack of scoring goals, and I think when Newcastle did get rid of him, you know, Coventry got a great player there for next to now.
Absolutely. No, some great names and a fantastic number, magnificent number 9s.